Rose and it's so better leave. I'ma swap it for time and I fake it for me. More jittery bass in 3 days, I'm on 3, I'm gone. Palomino Patron, Cappuccino Tuton, Alameda Song. Stack it up, stack it up.
What's up, friends, degenerates, traders, investors, longs and shorts? How we doing today? I'm Circa. With me, as always, is my partner in crime, Jew.bacca. How's it going today,
How's it going,
Joey?
man? I'm doing all right. Just trying to, stay on sides, which is impossible, pretty much.
It's
these
Kim
days.
possible.
So,
We're unstoppable.
yeah.
This price action. We were
Alright.
gonna have RT here to serve as the bull in this bulls versus bears debate, but as is the case with the Bitcoin charts, the bulls just ain't showing up. The
Protect your bag,
Yeah. So I guess the bears are fully in control, is what RT is trying to tell us subliminally. And so we're gonna have a fun day just sort of roasting the cryptocurrency markets, I guess. We got some cool stuff planned. We're monitoring the chat, so if you want us to talk about any specific thing where you're dancing monkeys, and we will dance. But other than that, we got some cool stuff planned. We're going to talk about the markets. We're going to talk about what's been going on. We're going to claim a little clout, and then Jew.bacca's put together a fantastic slide presentation on why it is so unequivocally, undebatably overs. So we're going to have some fun. But let's start off with a little bit of a market overview. Coach, you want to switch us over? All right. So here I have the Bitcoin chart pulled up. There's a lot of shit on it. Let's try not to pay too much attention to that. But just to recap where we've been, we had some nice moonage earlier in the month. We got up to this sort of 30K level. We chopped around. We deviated resistance. And then we chopped around. And then we dropped. And then we came back up. Tested resistance one more time. And then we dropped dramatically. Dramatic cuckage. And I think we all shorted this in the pit, right? This was like a big pit. Oh, this is going to drop moment. Yeah. And then we all sort of like licked our wounds for a few days in terms of like any long attempts. And then right around here, a lot of us just got super long. I remember I woke up this morning of this area right here, and I just like looked at all the charts, and I was like, all these charts scream giga long. And it was the most uncomfortable day because I got in all those longs, and they almost all of them went within like $20, 2% of invalidation, right? Like
What were you longing then?
I think my charts were ARB, Blur. I didn't do CFX. I did do CRV, Cocos. I did Dusk, DYDX. I might have charted FET, FXS for sure, GRT, INJ, Lido, LRC, Magic, OP, Render, Rose, Sol, which I didn't take that long, but it worked out. And that's it. Those are all the ones I charted.
Yeah, I was long Render and in INJ.
Yeah, worked out.
I cut way too early.
Yeah, me too. Because I was just getting, because I was like, we're gonna revert. This is not like these longs all worked out beautifully. I think I started cutting right around here on this shelf, and then before I went to bed, I think I cut most of what I had. And then I started shorting too early, but that worked out as well. I paid for a few invalidations, but then up here it was like time to short.
Should we briefly talk about that, like the alert and then the potential?
Yeah, I guess we should, right? Yeah. So just to sort of explain this, I had tagged this underside range from this consolidation here as like potential future resistance if we go for an underside retest, because we never retested it. We just dropped straight. And then sure enough, we came back up to it, and I was like, all right, this is definitely the time to short. And we were like sitting in shorts all day, right? We had Render, INJ loaded up, BTC, a lots of
Yep.
shorts loaded up, and then it started dropping, and then like it came out that like
DB, the
DB, yeah,
DB
tier
account. Yeah.
10K had posted like, oh, Arkham alert, like Mount Gox and government wallets. There's movement on these wallets.
Yep.
And it was thought in the confusion and in the turmoil that, oh, this is what caused the market crash, is that people said Mount Gox and government were selling, which wasn't the case, one. And two, that tweet came out before we had, or after we had crashed.
Yeah. I think someone timestamped the bottom, and the tweet actually marked very close to the bottom.
Yeah, and Silico had a
Yeah.
lot of fun making fun of people for for that.
Yeah, he loves to
Um,
do that.
yeah, it was very funny. But yeah, so it kind of was like, because there was also Jump, right? Jump, which is a major trading desk and fund.
Yep.
They not only do capital investment, but they do just trading. And
Yeah.
and it was reported that they had like loaded up like
There's like
several.
50 million of BTC or something that
Right. But
they dumped.
people were saying like that's not enough for this move, right? Like
Yeah.
that didn't move the market 5%.
Yep.
Which I tend to agree with. So yeah, I think this was just like, this is another case of the chart was screaming down. It
Mhm.
wasn't Jump, it wasn't Mount Gox, it was like, the fucking chart.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What's your, okay, we dropped and then very quick bounce, very quick up to the midpoint. And then we went up for an underside retest here last night. I caught this short. Um, didn't go as far as I wanted it to, but whatever. But I was like theory crafting around here, like I think we're gonna go visit the bottom of the range very soon. And then it started mooning, and RT posted in the chat. He said up,
Yep.
and I was like, yeah, yeah. And then and then when we got here and it stopped, I was like, I mean, I immediately said like, look at where it stopped, like pretty interesting. And then I took the short and that didn't go very far, and now we've just been chopping the middle of that little range that we created. So what's your opinion on all this, Jew.bacca? What do you think?
I mean, it's just kind of low liquidity fuckery,
Mm,
in my opinion. I mean, I think you know, we dunk on Don Alt a lot for acting like a boomer of crypto, but I think he put it, in a
aptly.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, really succinct and well thought out way, is that pretty much everything between 20 to 30K right now is a lie. And if we're actually going to get serious and make some legitimate upward movements, like, we're going to hold 30K as support. And so
Yeah.
I think I can kind of look to that as an invalidation. If we break 30K, hold it, it's game on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just kind of like, we're in this, no man's land. It feels like close to top purgatory overall, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I was saying it before the stream. It reminds me a lot of this cluster right here, 24-25, where we're just like high volatility, a liquid chop. There's
Hmm.
people in the books playing funny games, you know,
Yeah.
just like wrecking liquidity to the up and downside, which is why I've been using these liquidity lines a lot lately, like in the past few days, is just to understand like what are the unswept levels at all times. And that way I can kind of know where we're at. If there's like, if we were down here and there was just all these liquidity lines up to the upside, I wouldn't take the short. I'd be like, it's probably going to
Mhm.
sweep all the massive liquidity to the upside. And that's been working out well because it's just like a liquidity seeking market right now. But yeah, I agree with that. I think yeah, like you really don't have to pay unless you're a scalper. You really don't have to pay too much attention, anywhere in here. Like I would
Yeah.
I would shorten it though. I'd keep it from like 30 to 25.2. Because if we start getting below 25.2, I think it's dramatically overs. Um, that's like the support everyone's eyeing.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but very interesting couple of days because the pit, I think by and large, has just been killing it with trading both ways.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty well, but not closing and taking profits as much as I should. So I rode that. I was on sides for that nuke. I think
Yeah.
either yesterday or the day before, but yeah, like barely closed,
Yeah. I'm
barely booked
guilty
any
of
profits.
not
Yeah,
having closed render here and then
yeah,
just closing at break even when I was up like I think 50% at one point.
yeah,
No. Should have closed
yeah.
render in INJ.
Mhm.
Oh, we're seeing that RT thought this was supposed to go down at a different time. Let us know if he's
Mhm.
coming in. We're happy to have him. But yeah, yeah, I think that it is like take profit season. It is low
Yep,
time frame scalper season. Maybe just shave off to like 2 or 3 R any trade you were planning if it's over that.
yep,
Yeah, man. So
agreed.
overall though, what's your opinion on, high time frames like rally stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're getting close to the top. I think we've had a number of top signals that I've put together that remind
Yes.
me of
Let's
previous
go, dude.
cycle top signals. So yeah, I've put together this little presentation on what happened right after the merge. I mean, not the merge. Right after,
Shanghai.
yeah, Shanghai Chapella,
Yeah.
where ETH BTC mooned for like a week, and everyone thought it was game fucking on.
Yeah. We got really
And
excited into resistance for
yeah,
offsuit.
but like the excitement was so much higher than like the gains in the price represented. I
Yeah,
think, which
100%.
which which kind of makes me think it was the top.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to get into it. So yeah, my first top signal marker is Pepe. Basically, um, you know, plenty of influencers did 1000x, 2000x on this coin.
Yeah.
Stuff like that doesn't happen at bottoms or in mid rally.
Continuation clusters, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the easiest cut and dry top signals is minting millionaires off of Pepe.
Yeah,
And
really monitoring where is all the attention on the risk curve.
yeah,
Yeah, good call, and
and
it's still going on now. Like, there's still
yeah,
people in the pit posting, "New meme coin," like,
yep,
again. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, there's still liquidity for these memes, which means that people who you know weren't weren't actively in crypto, who just got in because because they saw Pepe do 1000x. Those people need to feel some real pain, and whatever Pepe's down maybe like 50%, not even from the highs right
You
now.
shorted Pepe a lot over the last few
I
days,
did,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
pretty
did,
easy short right
yeah, I
there.
did super well on that. It was like that. It's kind of like a complacency shoulder,
Yeah,
a double top type deal. And so that was a pretty easy short. Got out of that now. I think Pepe's primed for a bounce, but yeah, I mean, I think we're just in the middle of wrecking everyone who
yeah.
is jumping into the space trying to catch those Pepe gains.
A
So
lot of NFT bros talking about
mm,
selling their apes and selling their NFTs for meme coins.
yeah, yep,
Pretty
totally,
interesting. You got to shout out Tidro in the pit, legendary shitcoin, meme coin, alpha spotter.
yep,
And I mean, he brought us so many memes in the pit. Sergeant Fitness when it was the step in days, right?
yep.
And then we had check in the chain for high probability trades. So shout outs Tidro, definitely a major source of culture in the pit. Um,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he showed like Wojak or something, and it
yeah.
did like a 5x
Lest we
from
forget
there. So
our loop. Showed us our
yeah,
loop and it did like
yeah,
20x in a day.
yep.
By the way, if you're not in the pit and you'd like to
Mm.
participate in this culture, go to hxro.com, click community, and join the Discord so you can know who Tidro is. All right, cool. So we got Pepe,
We got
meme
Pepe.
coins going off
Yep,
on 420. Pretty
yep.
big top signal. What's next?
Next is one of both of our personal favorites is someone who's essentially become the Kramer of crypto. Uh, has just a legendary tweet that I think like this is going to age well. I don't think that the market is going to allow him to be right.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I think
yeah,
that this is going to like we're gonna NFT this in like a year from now. You
100%.
know,
Yeah. I mean,
we're
it's
gonna
already legendary. This is what is this
yeah,
like?
it is,
This is a
it
4-hour
is,
chart.
yeah. It is, but I mean, if the rally keeps going from here and, we get like the real alt season in, a couple weeks to a month, um, it won't really hold down the
He
same.
also tweeted apes degenning shitcoins on chain. I'm thinking we're back, like right on this
Like right
shoulder.
there. Yep.
Yeah. But
Yep. It's perfect.
to his credit, I think he might be on a redemption arc. You disagree with this, but he did say at the Pico top right before the dump on
Yep.
BTC, there's no way you're going to convince me that this isn't rolling over. And then it
Yep.
immediately nuked.
It's true.
So that's when I was like, maybe the Ansem, because the Ansem being wrong arc started back in the crash when we were at like 40K. And he was
Yep.
like, this isn't chop. This is the start of a new trend. And then it
Yep.
immediately went on a one-way trip to like 15K. Um,
I think the
but
arc even
yeah,
started slightly before that when uh, he released some like late
the
Q4
Q4,
report
yeah, yeah.
where
Report
where he was
had like
like
Luna
saying,
and
yeah,
DFK in it. Yeah, yeah.
yep,
Wasn't great.
yep,
But
but
yeah, I've got my eye out for the
yeah,
turn of this arc because I don't want to be on the
totally.
wrong side of it if he starts making banger calls,
Yep,
premium trades.
agreed. But even Kramer, he just flip flops so often on things
Yeah, yeah.
where I think he will end up calling some things right just because he'll contradict himself.
Right.
So I think yeah, we'll definitely have to pay close attention to. Um,
If you had for the last week, if you just took the opposite of whatever Ansem said as a trade, you did fantastically well.
yeah,
It's pretty
yeah. So
crazy.
so well that it definitely seems like um, the majority of large market participants in this space literally have Ansem on notifications and
Yes.
are doing this. It
What
was
was
the
the
Sokka tweet
Hisaka?
about
Yeah.
ARB.
Yeah, so Hisaka
Yeah.
was like T-wopping ARB, T-wopping into a position
Yeah.
several days ago. Um,
Mhm.
and then
When
what
ARB
did he
was
say?
outperforming basically, the whole market
He said that
at that
feeling
point.
when you've been comfortably T-wopping into a position all day with barely any drawdown, and then you see all the limp-wristed degens who market buy and puke their position within the same 15-minute candle start tweeting about the same coin. And
Yeah.
it was right after Ansem had tweeted
Like ARB looks
about.
good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, that's how I felt about Bonk when he tweeted about Bonks. Poor Ansem, man. I really
I
do hope
know.
his redemption arc is beginning here. I hope he
Yep.
puts out a research report that just all ends up being bangers. Because the thing about
Totally.
Ansem is that he's never middle. It's either completely nailing it or
Yeah.
completely the opposite. Yeah.
Yep.
So I hope he
No,
turns it around. All right, what's next? We got
regardless. Yeah, what do we got for 3? So, yeah, classic top signal is when CNBC starts saying, like, bear market over type,
right.
type articles. I think it was the top of the merge rally where CNBC, released some headline or it was, like, something on Squawk Box with the headline just, "Bear market over, new bull imminent." And then I basically sold everything,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was the easiest signal in the world. Um, so I think Cameron Winklevoss. I'm not sure he's. I don't know enough about his history of posts and calls to call him like a great counter signal, but it definitely feels like a kind of Barry Silbert, um, you know, big week kind of thing. You know.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we had said I'll pull up a chart maybe after this is done, but like we had talked about total market cap peaking up just enough to say some new money is in, and that's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And that's certainly what we're kind of looking at right now. All right,
Mhm.
so we got major media
Yep.
news outlets reporting that the bull market is over, which is literally the thing we had talked about looking out for.
Yep, exactly. Um, literally, literally the Dogecoin rocket exploding on 420 that was supposed to,
Coinciding with the
pump-
Dogecoin crash.
yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
can't
I
write
mean,
this stuff.
no, it's insane.
People think we're
Um,
joking about this, like, stuff that has nothing to do with orders and price action. It's not a joke, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you have smart people that were shorting Doge on this, and then you have, the the members of Biz on Reddit who are probably like just aping into Dogecoin on 420 because it was supposed to pump with the rocket launch.
You also had Tree of
So
Alpha T-wopping into Doge at that time, and then continued after it crashed and has been saying, like, this is a long-term play now.
sounds like you just got caught off sides.
That's what it
Yeah,
sounds like, but it's wild that he's
still
kept
doing it.
T-wopping for several
Yeah.
days.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe is he overall like still
Hard
bullish on
fade,
this rally?
hard man
Okay.
to fade. Yeah.
Yeah. So is he still
Um,
bullish on this rally, or is it just such a long time frame trade?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like when someone goes from T-wopping in for a clearly news-driven event,
Yeah.
and then oh, someone said Mong in the chat. I have a shitload of mongoose from the last time, from a year or two ago.
Nice.
I hope that moons.
Shout out to Brad Sherman.
Who's Brad Sherman?
That like horrible senator
Oh,
from like
what
what is it?
what is
Eastern
mongoose
California, the
coin
mongoose coin
gonna
guy.
do to
Yeah.
crypto coin? Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Well, yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if that'll play out for Tree of Alpha. He's definitely typically not a fade.
Yep. Agreed.
Wow.
And so underrated, I think this is a signal that most people probably didn't see because I think most of us aren't heavily subscribed to altcoin daily, which is a good thing. But this reminded me, and I don't know, part of me says watch it, but part of me wants to like spare you. So I'm gonna say don't
Yeah, I'm
watch
not
it.
gonna.
It
There's
is
no
one of the
chance in
most.
hell.
It's at least as bad. It might be worse than the Randy Zuckerberg video,
Mhm.
honestly. Literally might be worse. That dropped on 410 really reminded me of the Wag Me Randy Zuckerberg video that top ticked the entire market.
I think I have a tweet
So
still up that has that tweet on a chart from her
yeah,
releasing that video and just being like, "Why did you do this to us?"
yep.
She top ticked the
I
whole
know
route, the whole cycle
it
almost.
was perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Um, all right, and then we got
easy one
this
for
one's
me.
great. Yep.
This one's perfect. Anytime you get big brands making like clearly like non-crypto native posts,
Yeah.
it just is cringe and obviously marked to top last time, Pepsi and Budweiser making extremely cringe crypto posts. Welcome brand friend WagMe. That's the kind of stuff you fade. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like well, you fade how do I say this? You fade it if the halving is more than 2 years behind or in front of you, right? Like
yeah,
in this back 2 years between a halvings, that's when you fade it. And then
yep,
it's like just happens all the time during the bull market.
sure.
It's hard to use it as signal.
I don't know. I think that I'd have to overlay that the timing of the previous one that I
Yeah.
screenshotted onto a chart, but I think that was
December 9th, 2021. Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, yeah,
it's
that was
time.
peak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it might happen a fair amount during the bull market, but for whatever reason, that one was
Wendy's
shared
during
way
the
more.
in early 2020 when or in mid 2020 / early 2021, Wendy's was going off. Shout outs to my people. Um,
Uh,
yeah, so okay, very cool.
yep.
All right, and then that's
And
it.
yeah, that's my short list of top signals. So
I think
um,
that from a chart perspective as well, like oh, yeah. So this is the assemblage of we'll go over that in a second because I do think that this one's a redemption arc for Ansem. But if we
yep.
just get all of that off the chart and we just, take a simple presumption that the crypto native bid, the amount of money that people who are still in at 15K are willing to dump back into coins from stables is, I think, here at the top of that summer rally
Mhm.
or that dead cat bounce, if you will. Um, and so when we had talked about like if we poke our head above that and deviate back down below, that's top. And that's certainly what we've just done. So unless we get a wave of new money coming in, I don't know. I think it really is over.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we're
I mean,
at least gonna get this, um, if not
yep.
lower. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the bullish case from this point is like a just more consolidation between here and 25K, and maybe eventually we do make that run in a couple months or later this year, but
Yeah.
um, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen here,
Right. Yeah, yeah. I kind of agree with that. Um what from a macro perspective, I just wanted to mention that like I've been paying attention to two things. One is the bond market volatility for a
Mhm.
potential bigger banking crisis. This is
And
where we pop.
what was the crisis that just happened? That was
Oh,
some
First
banking
Republic.
crisis. Yeah, First Republic.
Um, I don't know. I think it's the same exact story as Silvergate. They just had tons of duration risk that they took on by basically like bonds. For anyone watching who like doesn't know what the F we're talking about, bonds, government bonds, they're priced based on the yield. So if you have a lower yield, you need to compensate for that with higher prices. If they have a higher yield, you compensate with lower prices. Um, the problem being is that that doesn't necessarily work out when we've got bonds coming out today that have a 5% coupon. So you make 5% on the money. Um, and all these bonds have like a like 0.5% coupon. So they just loaded up on all these illiquid bonds that are now nearly worthless. And if they could just wait until those bonds reach maturity, they'd get all their money back. But then you get a bank run. You get a bunch of people trying to pull out their deposits and they have to sell those bonds at a loss and not wait until maturity. And so they don't have enough capital to meet their deposits. Um, and so I think that's what happened. That's what happened with Silvergate. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with First Republic. Lots of
Mhm.
regional banks are in that position. And the thing to monitor with the move contract is this measures bond market volatility. And so banks can now, the Fed made it so that, hey, you don't have to sell your bonds if you get a bank run. Just come to us, put them up as collateral, and we will lend you the money to pay out your deposits so that you don't have all this duration risk. But
Mhm.
they can only lend out that money up to a certain point. So if you've ever used DeFi to take a loan, you know this. The more volatile a token is, the less of its cash value you can actually borrow because they need some margin on top to account for like, what if this thing just crashes? We need to be able to liquidate you and get our money back, so we can't lend you that much. Same thing with the bonds. They need to be able to liquidate these bonds and get their cash back if everything goes tits up. And if the bond market's super volatile, that means banks can't borrow out the full value, which means they have the same problem that they just had.
Yeah.
So I've been looking at that. And then also I've been monitoring this thing Lynn Alden said about the debt ceiling, which is like basically,
Real quick, going back to
yeah,
the banking failure. Did you read that? I think the U.S. government is asking other like they're saying they're not going to bail out First Republic Bank. They're asking
yeah,
other banks to basically bail them out. Otherwise, if they have to step in, they're there's basically going to be like a $30 billion fine, um,
Damn.
for other banks.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's pretty wild, is it not?
yeah. So I mean, I think the TLDR is that they're basically saying like, okay, like JP Morgan, several other banks, you guys need to, step in with 3 billion of liquidity or suffer a $30 billion fine later on. So, um, yeah, it's
That's pretty
from what
scary.
I understood, doesn't seem like great for liquidity you know if the
Um,
Fed is not backstopping them, and yeah.
so the other thing I'm looking at is the Treasury General account, because according to certain macro experts, the reason that stocks and crypto had a rally is because of the debt ceiling. basically, um, basically, when we ran out of money in the US government and they were unwilling to raise the debt ceiling, that means that they have to start spending money out of the Treasury General account. It's the cash that the US Treasury has on reserve to handle situations like this. Treasury General account went from like 700 billion down to like 200 billion now. And so that money's just been pouring out into the economy. That's pro liquidity. And stocks and crypto are highly liquidity sensitive assets. So if you get more liquidity coming into the general market, these things should do well. Um, and I've heard other people claim that like this rally was liquidity driven. And so I'm willing to buy that. And she says that when we reach the debt ceiling agreement, that basically that's going to stop, so you're not going to have this excess liquidity going into the market. Instead, you're going to have the opposite, which is the US Treasury wants to refill their cash reserves. So they're going to start selling bonds and taking cash out of the system and putting it back into that sort of liquidity black hole, which means we're going to be back in a low liquidity environment very soon. I think House just passed the debt ceiling legislation, and it's now going in front of the Senate. I don't know much about it, but that's just something I'm monitoring for, like maybe a potential turnaround in markets.
Sure. Yeah, I wonder what the time frame on that for the Senate to approve.
Yeah, some people were saying debt ceiling won't be raised until summer. I don't know what's behind that, but that's what they're
Mhm.
saying. Um, we just got sent this by our producer. Breaking: Powell has said that an economic downturn is possible or even likely, but that it is necessary to cool the economy and slow inflation. He
Oh
reportedly,
yeah,
yeah,
that was he probably has to say that now because um he got pranked, right?
yeah, yeah,
By um by someone posing as Zelensky,
yeah.
right? And so he was overheard, I guess, on the phone saying that,
Dude,
recession is going to happen, but it's the cost, of inflation.
he reminds me of my
Um,
dad. It's like falling for phone
totally.
scams.
Yeah. I mean, the phone scams are only going to get worse, like with AI voice,
Yeah. Why
So
also, like, why would Zelensky call Jerome Powell? He's he just bought that? It's like, "Oh,
uh,
yeah." Um,
he has him on speed dial, obviously.
oh, shit, RT's here. Are you coming in, RT? Damn, the Bulls show up for a
Oh
for
man, yeah.
valiant defense, dude. Oh god.
Someone has to,
I think he's coming in.
hopefully.
Alright, it seems like our Tizzle is here. The Bulls have arrived to stop the trash talking. What's up, RT? Oh,
You
you're on
rang?
screen. Yeah,
Yep.
man.
Well, I have not. First off, I swear to God, the stream is at 2 p.m. So I planned my entire day around racing back to be here for 2. And then I get on my way and my message, it's like, we're live. I'm like, oh, it's 1 o'clock. All right. So that's baby brain for you guys. I had twins
This man had twins,
on
y'all.
Monday morning at 5 a.m. I was up all night Sunday night. Haven't slept a lot, catching up now. Anyways, good to be back. And apparently you guys have been super bearish on the stream. I got like 6 DMs. Guys are like, go get in there. So I don't know what that's all about because I just see us back above key levels. But let's look.
Let's take a look,
It's
dude.
weird.
You
It's
want to
kind
take
of
over the
cool where I
screen
come in
and
having no idea what you said, so I'm totally out of context. No bias.
we
we'll
just
just-
presented tons of bearish. I mean, freaking Jew.bacca put together a
Yeah,
slide
I
presentation
put together
for
a
why it's over.
signals
Oh,
presentation.
I'm gonna have
yeah.
to watch it back afterwards.
Yep.
I was small detail. I woke up at 7 a.m. this morning to go golfing, first time of the year. So early so that I could be here for this 2 p.m. stream, 2 p.m. And I just hit the best round of my life, and I hadn't practiced one fucking swing since last last season.
Wow.
I hit a 90.
Not overthinking.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So just goes to show kids practice doesn't make perfect. You just gotta have talent.
Well,
Practice is
all
bullshit.
right, dude.
Oh, there you go. And I'll tell you what, Spot just took off on the 1 minute. I sat down to the Agger just to get set up here, and Spot was like going
Yeah.
crazy, and price hadn't moved yet. So I was like, oh, this is where Circa's bullish. So
They're
there you
moving.
go. Anyways, yeah, dude, I'm still bullish. I remain net long. My perps are flat, if that means anything. But I remain net very long.
I don't know if you're in the pit this morning, but it has been godly for scalping. I took a long
Yeah, I was not.
after like presenting my thoughts to I think PBOD, and it immediately like went to target in like it made me look really good, but I was not at all anticipating it.
Yeah.
But
the
this is
timing was
kind of my
incredible.
scalping activity for today, and this is that long.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's this morning.
Yeah, this morning I was like, I'm long, and it immediately
Yep.
mooned to an aggressive upside target.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Wait, yeah, I think my clock's off on here, but I'm looking at the 1 minute. So yeah, that was like pretty recently. That's dope.
yeah, it was wild. And it looks like
Great
we're going
scalp.
there again. So
Yeah,
we'll see if we get
yeah.
a deviation of this range high, or if we
I mean,
or
look,
if we
let's
go past it.
yeah, let's get serious here. No more scalping. Let's look at the high time frames. I did a screenshot. I don't know if it's going to be plugged in yet.
Oh yeah, let me relinquish this one.
Oh, relinquish.
Oh,
Relinquish is a good word.
big question
The
mark.
Riddler pops up every time you like lose a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
You got to put Victor on the spot here. Let's go. He's got us. Johnny on the spot. But you know what I did do this morning, since we're talking about the pit? The only thing I said was I'm going long Blur. I think that maybe is last night. I don't know.
Yeah,
The highest performer.
went
of the
well,
day.
right?
I didn't know that Binance was going to list it on perps.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That
In
rocks.
fact,
So
I got to the
Binance-
golf course. I was like, shit, everything's down. Oh wait, Blur's up 9%. Sick.
So did Binance list Spot at all or no?
I don't know. And then I just saw in the pit about the perps. I've literally I woke up like weirdly early for how much sleep I've not been getting. And then just like raced in the house and came here. I've not really looked at anything today. Sometimes that's where you get your purest analysis. So let's see.
Calling Coach Sir.
Oh, Coach Popovic. We're going to need to plug in. Beam me up, Scotty. Only one person can share.
Beam us up, dude. Let's go.
Oh, now I have to share it.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm screen sharing.
Okay, cool.
So we'll just get it plugged in. Bitcoin dominance looks like it wants to go for a run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. ETH BTC looks bad.
Yeah,
I think,
it does.
I
It
think
was like a
longing.
weird
yeah,
fake out.
Yeah, I
Because
think longing BTC makes sense here, but alts probably less so.
I think shorting alts makes sense.
Yeah,
which sucks because altcoins are like way nicer. Okay, this is Blur. Let's go. First off, look, this looks good to me. Like, I know you can go high time frame and you could say like, oh, we had a deviation, we're back in, but you got to check your time frames. Yesterday, first of all, was insane. I think we should start with that.
Mhm.
I guess you guys are probably talking about it. So I really have no context. I'm sorry. But this is the level I kind of saw last night where it was like previous range highs. Then I wanted to trade this and I was setting it up as if it was going to be a trade that I would play out over a period of weeks.
Yeah.
At least days.
Yeah.
And So like, oops. Oh, did it again. So basically just like setting up this fib pong. I was in the pit talking about the probabilities, and I thought, I think there's a pretty high probability that whatever we do, we just like fib pong around up here for a bit. And I was saying that very casually, like, yeah, I'm gonna trade that when it happens. And we came Monday, like this is me in the hospital. I actually did long this and then closed it like here. So it was like, because I was just like, I'm gonna focus on my babies, taking care of my lady. I'm not trying to like sweat shit. I had a nice little profit, I'll take it. So this hurt a bit. This hurt a little bit, won't lie. But it's like straight up into the short reload zone. Straight back. And so like as fib pong goes, you would then want to get the next fib of that. So you would take this and you would take that high that we just made. And you'd say, okay, I'm going to short from there into there. And like, bing, perfect close back above, but it really wicked like insanity. And then, as if that wasn't a crazy enough day, the next leg of fib pong was just this.
Yeah.
And it was just like then back up and then back up. So you had like a 1, 2, 3, 4 play out in one day.
Yeah.
A week of trading for me. And I was not at the desk, like not fully.
Yeah.
I was like, I ran over during this nuke and tried to long it. And, but like, yeah, generally speaking, but look, this chart just doesn't look that bearish to me. It feels bearish because we went up and then we came down 10%, but we're in a weekly uptrend. I still believe very strongly that we're in sort of this disbelief rally. So I'm not surprised that people want to sell everything after a 10% drop. That's part of like what we need. And then ultimately yesterday, despite all that insanity, it closed green. So it looks like buy volume on a lot of different time frames, particularly the 4 hour. And it's just back above a key level. So if you're thinking about like effective shakeouts in a bull rally, they're only effective if they shake everyone out. And I say everyone very loosely, but like anyone who's just like got too long up here, like whatever, like a very, very effective shakeout.
Yeah.
So I have my invalidations. The cool thing is that this now becomes like a very sweet invalidation. I mean, I set my stop losses here, and like I'm pretty confident if we lose that level, even if we bounce right after, that I can buy back fairly cheaper sometime like over the summer, September or whatever. So this is my invalidation to that. So all I did yesterday, despite trying like all my fib pong, I just bought a bunch of spot ETH back. And then I traded half of it to Bitcoin because I realized that I might be wrong about ETH BTC. Because I saw this. Dude, look at this.
Yeah.
Sweep and reject, but like now we're just could get gnarly. So anyways, it's my hot take coming in late like that. I still got my China coins over here.
Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, bullish Bitcoin dominance is good.
Yeah, regardless of the direction.
I mean, look, everything's green today. I just noticed this. And
equities
after
ripped today.
Yeah.
Did they?
Oh yeah.
Let's go see. Oh, Riot's up a little bit. Is it?
While we were streaming too.
Nice. Yeah, actually, that's one bit of intel I did
back
get.
above the magic line, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was a little. I mean, you know me. Like every time I see a dip, I'm like, let's get the pump tracer zone.
Yeah.
We front ran it a bit, and now we're getting a rip. So, yeah, I'm not bearish on much right now. I know there's a lot of talk of debt ceiling and how that's going to affect some liquidity. I don't trade off that. I trade off my TA for the most part. And the TA looks good. I mean, look at Blur. Look at Blur before this. I mean, it was just like just this W's and WWW, and then it was like just back into reload zones, growing strength. So after trading it up this and then getting out, it was like I gotta reload here. Now, as you can see, my bids didn't all fill. I have a few bid alerts that I was trying to get you yesterday, but it's all good. Long and strong, and now like super high volume. So like this chart, just it's weird to be bearish on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Blur looks good.
Yeah.
IMX having a good day. So the funny thing is, I was so bullish on China coins, and I was always like, "Oh, maybe I'm just wrong with my timing." And like the better trade is going to be this reload zone, and then it'll still be well ahead of like this whole June China Hong Kong thing. And I am deathly afraid right now of this having been the trade, because every single one of them looks the same, and we still have a month until there's like this whole China narrative that I was bullish on. So I might have to reload the Chinese coins, even though some of them are really dusty, like Neo. Anyways, it's a good day. It's nice to get home and see green in the market when I left myself pretty infinite spot long, like no cash. The last of my cash went into Blur on this day. Anyways,
Yeah.
what's in the news, boys? I feel like I came in and took over. Came in hot. I got a lot out there. What's going on?
We talked about Jerome Powell telling pranksters on a phone call that the economy looks like shit. And that's about all we really talked about, besides the Mount Gox government alert.
Yep,
You know,
the
fiasco.
DD
That
alert.
was weird. I mean, I don't know. I was kind of under the assumption that that false alert did cause some shit, and then they're like, "No, the alert came out after the dump."
Yeah.
Except for I distinctly recall watching the dump happen while knowing about the Gox and shit moving. So I don't know how it all. And I don't care. Like I don't want to get back into it and be like, "Let's be a detective." Whatever it caused it, it was just like it was just insanity.
Yeah, I think bull or bear, what we can agree on is that liquidity is abhorrent right now. There's not a whole lot of ask or bid liquidity,
It's
resting.
tough trading if you don't have these levels, and even with
You
these
need
levels, I have not crushed it. I look, when I see a flash crash, I almost always just get excited and think, okay, I'm going to go play the bounce. And that did not serve up here. This was a flash crash. I mean, yeah, play a tiny bounce, but like this one got me into some trouble last week. But this one was so insane. Like, and then somewhere around here, you hear like reports of like, well, actually, Mount Gox is not selling stuff, and neither is the government. And I was just like, oh, this is auto long. It came into a pretty cool level. But the thing I was going to share, that this was my journal piece, because I admittedly longed it too early. I longed it here. And then on this, I stopped it out because I wanted to long it lower, and then basically got long like nearby. But the thing is, I get so excited when I see this. And I wasn't at my desk. Like I wasn't in trade mode. I was kind of napping and trying to catch up on like this whole night off of sleep, 2 nights off of sleep that I took for the new babies. So admittedly, and like, maybe a little more discipline, and I'd be like, oh, I'm not trading this week because of this. But when in Rome, you get the setups, you gotta trade them. Anyways, 5-minute bull divs. I think I've got a rule now that when I see, because on the 4 hour, these just look really fast, but they actually take time, sometimes over a period of half an hour, to play out a flash crash. And it was the 5-minute bull div, and I've noticed this many times before on the RSI. It's like you want to be long as that 5 minute goes down into a higher low here. It's just a much stronger signal than like the 1 minute bull div, which is where I initially got long. That's the one that got me into trouble. So yeah, didn't play this as beautifully as I wanted to. Right idea, wrong execution. But this was the 1 minute bull div.
Wasn't Spot leading us out of that crash?
I don't know. I do remember last night though. What do you think, Circa?
Leading us out of last night's crash?
Yeah.
No, it was perps, but like that's to be expected, because basically, like when you have an OI wipe that's that large, you're gonna have immediate positioning coming in. Just as a mechanical like spring, right? Like so many people have been wiped out. Oh, what's up, Smeety Boop?
Hey, he's in town working. Get back to work, Smeety.
Yeah, like I don't I'm not looking at like what was it, like $2,000 in like 20 minutes. I'm not really looking at spot versus perp CBD
Mhm.
at that magnitude. And largely like spot versus perp CBD hasn't been that reliable. You know what's been reliable is like 1 minute divs and just the dumbest TA you can imagine. Like literally 101 TA has been crushing it because it's
Yeah.
like basically since the crash, you could short any underside retest or long any overside retest of a previous consolidation, and you came away with like 3R, 4R.
It's like Forex without the sweeps.
Exactly like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Forex without the sweeps. I remember when we started mooning off of my like bearish talk last night and RT set up, I was like, I'm gonna get you back when we get this underside.
I know
retest."
you were just dying to say down.
Yeah.
And then right here, I
I'm
I
like,
looked in the
"Oh,
chat
no."
and I just see down.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, very excited for that. But now up.
Not for sure. Yeah.
I win the day.
I guess
Okay,
so.
day
Dude.
trader today. I win. I
Yep,
wasn't
nope.
on it. I didn't long
That's-
it, but I
That's
win.
facts.
But here's a level. Here's a level that I noticed last night. You get all this. This was pretty strong resistance. And now it is support. So, I didn't want to long it last night because I really just thought, okay, if I'm going to take any kind of size, like I want it to be like the next time everyone wants to throw up, and that would be like down into this reload zone. So, that's not out of the question. That's an area where I would be looking to long. This is probably all we get for that, and it's done. That's
Yeah.
okay. Like I said, I am like literally all in on spots, so that's okay for me. I feel long enough. The really responsible thing only I should be doing is like looking for some kind of shorts up here. But even those, like I just don't. I struggle to short without structure. This
We're
didn't
we're
really.
slowly roping in the permabulls, dude. We got Yamjeet to
Yeah.
short.
Well, no, not
gonna
short because like I think things are going down, but like up at these highs, it doesn't kill me to hedge out some exposure.
As bearish as I talk, I'm
Yeah.
never shorting because I think we're gonna go to 15K. I'm shorting because I want 3R.
Yeah, because you're scalping the 1 minute. The problem is when you talk about shorting or longing, like if you talk counter to my like 4-hour idea and then it like
Yeah.
gets in my head, like I've
Yeah.
basically
You're thinking
muted
4-hour.
you
I'm thinking
when I'm
15
thinking,
minutes.
until I come in with my setup already set, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna let Circa get in my head, and then I can go hang out in the pit.
Yeah.
If I'm fishing for ideas, I don't go there
I took
because I need my own shit.
first bigger swings, like more than an intraday trade over the last week. I took that short at the retest. Yep. And then I took that long. I longed like 20 different coins.
Dude, I remember you posted that and I appreciated it because for the first time in a long time, I straight up just copy traded you because I was in the hospital. And
Right.
I'm in the hospital, but it wasn't like, red alert, got to do shit. We were just like laying in our room, my lady's recovering. I'm just like on that weird, awkward hospital chair that pulls out into a bed, but it's terrible. And I was just like laying on it on my phone. She's sleeping, and I'm just like, ooh, and then I saw you're like, I'm long 8 things, and I was like, fuck, I like the long.
You're like, Circa's long. I can't fade this.
Yeah. Well, I was already looking for longs. I'm just like down here waiting for this 4-hour bull div. Look, dude, the 4-hour bull div has been so powerful this year for these pullbacks. Like, and I say that as someone who's like notoriously getting in too early on pullbacks. I think there was a 4-hour bull div somewhere here. It got stopped out. But generally speaking, like this whole pullback, the 4-hour bull div came in perfectly CPI. So we did trade that. And then again here, this dip, I was actually home from the hospital for an hour to get my shit together. And this is when this came in. So I just kind of like market bought after the sweep and, but then back at the hospital, I was like, like I don't have my computer. I don't have all this shit. And so I saw your list of longs and I looked, I was like, I like Solana. I've been trying to long that for a while anyways. We should probably look at that. It still looks good. And then LDO, I added LDO too. So I made some good coin.
Those are all phone markouts too. I got up in the morning and I had to take my daughter for morning duty. And so I'm in the playpen with her, just like looking at shit and just like, this looks good. Like, this all looks really good.
Yeah, it got really Wojak there for a bit, which I think is an important bit of data. Like I know you go on like everybody's bearish on my timeline. Look, bears post when they're winning, bulls post when they're winning. So everyone on my timeline is bullish or bearish doesn't really mean shit to me.
That was a major signal for me and Jew.bacca, I think, was
Yeah.
seeing all these perma bulls flip bearish.
Yeah, if you follow them, like if you follow guys and you kind of have like some kind of like data crunch on how they are, I don't pay enough attention to any one particular person on Twitter, but I do know when the pit's temperature changes, and I don't have any names in there of people that I use as indicators. It's just like the general, when it's like they're not even kidding, they're just like it's over,
smells
sold, I'm
sad in
flat.
here.
Yeah, it smells sad.
Yeah.
And then you see 4-hour bull dips forming. You see this like previous range getting tested, and like price on Solana just like sliding in here on like, the momentum's already turned back bullish. I mean, look at this 4-hour. The RSI was just like, I'm an uptrend.
Yeah.
And the price is like, I'm a downtrend. So it was really sexy for many reasons. And then of course, like this nuke, I was out of my long. I got out of my long early. I was regretting it. Then I was like, haha, because it wouldn't have hit my take profit anyway. So I it kind of worked out in my favor there. But even then, last night, this dip, alts, ETH, everything swept. Bitcoin.
There's your div.
But that was even more divage.
Yeah.
Less higher lows again. So
Triple
I mean, everything
bearish,
just
triple bull div.
triple, quadruple bull div. And so you have this. Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if these all don't just visit up here, and then that's where it's like, oh, I want to be a bear, but up there, of course, probably nobody
I
wants
saw
to be a bear.
even people I consider really good at trading and really smart, shorting INJ, which was down 35% in 3 days, and funding was like giga negative, and I was like, this is premium, right? Like,
Yeah.
This is so good.
That's crazy.
I think that the pit.
Yeah.
The pit was like completely on sides for that whole.
Yeah, we were in sync for like 3 days.
Everyone in the pit, just long that.
Yeah, I didn't, but again, I've been on a weird non-tradey way for just like, yo, trust me, dude, it's a trip. These babies were born. Throw your prayers out too, out of the way, because they are in the NICU. They are not out of the woods yet, but they're doing pretty well. They're stable, but they were born week 31. For those of you who don't have babies, you're supposed to go to 40 weeks.
Yeah.
36 for twins is more normal. This was 31. They came out just like they're tiny, 4 pounds.
They're like, it's crowded in here. Get me out.
Get me out of here. 4-pound babies. So like, I think they're going to be okay. You just don't know yet. Things can happen, right? So, but I've been in this like 11 p.m. Sunday night reading a book in bed, and it's just like, I think my water broke. I'm like, fuck, yo, it's go time. So I've not been at the desk anyways, but so I appreciated the INJ, and dude, your longs were so sexy. They were like, I'm not gonna I'm gonna toot your horn this once. Okay, you get one toot from me. But I do remember the day you just had like 10 charts that all just looked like this with like really tight invalidations, and you're like, I'm long everything.
Yeah.
So that was really good, dude. Yep. Great job on that. And it was nice that you shared it, and a lot of people kind of like, appreciated the analysis and took it. I really hate copy trading, and I hate the idea of like, I can just be good if I find the right guy to follow. But in a pit, when everyone kind of knows each other's style and everyone has their own plans, hopefully, it's dope when you just share some great ideas and then people get to jump on board. Because like the thing is, I copy trade you in this case with like, say, Solana, but I'm using my own thing.
I didn't even take Solana, so you technically didn't copy trade me.
But the idea, like I was already long Solana the day before. I looked at it again. I was like, yeah, shit, good reminder. But it's like, it's my setup. It's like, you take the idea from somebody, but then you have your invalidation. The problem with copy trading that I have,
if you don't know why that setup is like that, don't copy trade.
Or you don't have like your own invalidations, right? And then the next day somebody's like, are we still long Solana? You're like, bro, I've been out of Solana because I got invalidated as fuck last night, 10 minutes later. And then they can get wrecked, right? So I think there's a big difference between like sharing ideas and using people's good ideas. And that's actually what I love about the pit. In fact, and that's the second thing I love the most about the pit is anytime shit goes down, I just open up the pit and it's like somebody somewhere has found it. Yeah. They're like, it's this. And we're like, So it's really good for
they'll post it 10 times in a row, so.
And then you get it 10 times in a row.
So they'll never miss it.
And then you can't tell if it's pasta. Like, you have to do a little bit of deciphering in there, but
Yeah.
Uh,
If you're in the
Generally
pit
speaking.
and you're about to post something from more than 15 minutes ago, just don't.
Yeah. I love when guys show up like 2 hours later, like, yo, did you see this? We're like,
Yeah.
12 times today. Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So Solana looks good.
Something else that I forgot to
In
bring
some.
up in the top signals presentation was
Oh God.
there
You did
was
a top signals presentation?
Yeah, it
yep.
was decorated, dude. They put time into
I gotta go watch
this.
that.
There was a new member, I think maybe two members of the pit
Yes.
that
Big top signal.
we hadn't seen in maybe over a year.
Uh-oh.
As soon as they messaged, like someone
Yeah.
popped in and was like, "Hey guys, been a while," and I was like, "No."
Oh God, no.
They were like, "Any new altcoins?" And I was
Out.
like,
Yep.
"No."
It was, I think it was like JPEG Tycoon and T Marsh or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
They both
no.
popped in. They were like, "Art to 5."
yeah, yeah.
Oh
And me and
dear.
Jew.bacca were both like, "F, dude, we got
Oh
to start
God.
getting out of positions now."
Well, you know what? I saved that tweet for you. Basically, it says like if you're looking for top signals, you will find them everywhere, every day, all the time.
Which I agree with, but there have been some that have been impossible to ignore.
There's
So
Yeah,
they're
and I
everywhere.
distinctly
Yeah.
recall, and this is the fucked up thing: when you're looking for them and playing off them, and you're super like vigilant of them, it's usually not the top. Where the
Mm.
top typically comes in. Like you'll have your micro tops along the way, and for 2 weeks you're underwater, and you're like, God damn, that was the top. And then 2 months later you're higher, and you're like, the top 69K kind of shit comes in when nobody's looking for those anymore. Because they're so
Yeah.
blasé. Because for 6 months through 2021, we just had these absurd top signals. We had Lindsay Lohan shilling NFTs in August of that year, and then we had Mark Wahlberg making commercials in October. Like there was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
series of months of just absurd things. We got guys flexing watches and cars and buying houses and just all the things you think about. And then every time you try to be like, it's a top signal, I'm gonna get out, and then it just blasts higher for 6 months.
Mhm.
And that's typically why when the tops come in, people lose so much money, because they're playing smart through the whole bull run, and then it gets stupid near the end, and they kind of forget to manage risk because
Yeah, well, you become
So-
numb to the stupidity.
yes.
But for
Yeah,
me,
well,
it was
because
like,
it's so profitable to ignore it for so long, and every time, like right now, I'm like, maybe I should take a little short hedge. Every time I've done that this year, I've just lost money. Like I'm long, and I just give a little back on the way up because I think I need to hedge out. It's just early to hedge out. Maybe it's not now, but it was the 3 other times I've done it this year.
I will hedge. I've gotten addicted to hedging lately.
Don't
But
you live in cash though?
I
thought
do.
the whole point was that you don't have to now.
Because my theory is that we're close to a top, I want to hedge out any shorts instead of close them because of the psychological edge that comes with a top entry.
So hedge out shorts, as in like open a long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you keep your big short that you like running.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, dude. The psychological bit of like the entry.
Yeah.
It's
So
like if you close some and then reopen some, it moves your entry down. It looks like shit, and it's so disappointing.
yeah, or to just be uncomfortable again when like, you know what I mean? Like for instance, if you had caught the top here and you still had that, there are people who caught it and are still holding that and hedging out. And so when it comes back up to like 29.5, you're not like crapping your pants because you have
Full
like
LoJack, yeah.
pretty sick entry. Yeah.
Well, the perfect thing, yeah, I guess, is to like, this was a really sweet setup in retrospect. Funny thing, I was on a market call for my fund, just screaming up the wall about my China theory. Not that it was like everything has to move from here now, but I was like, I still think into June, if Hong Kong legalizes crypto, it's going to take over the narrative. And that could just be more bullish for Bitcoin ETH. It may not be about all these old dinosaur China coins. Who knows? But I was having that chat, and then even on that call, I was like, well, I mean, like there is a short setup here, but like I just don't, and like I struggle to take them, man. I thought if I'm taking them here, I want to get it like on a sweep or a little bear div, and it just failed, dude. It failed so hard. But again, 100% up, 10% down. All I'm gonna say is for the bears out there,
You're wrong.
don't ignore this. Don't ignore this.
The volume.
Volume is important. The last time we had sort of a sustained dip where we're in an uptrend, but then of course it has to unwind itself as they do. They zigzag up, they zigzag down. The last time, the bulls stepped in and you saw some bursts of volume was down here. Right here. Like you can see these little bits, obviously this push up, but this is like a very effective shakeout. I think we can all agree to that.
Yeah.
Extremely effective.
Oh.
For how little it dropped relative to the year's price. I mean, it felt like
John Alt sold.
full blown bear market. And now you just have this burst of buy volume, and not just, kind of just an up and down, but now still just up. So it's weird. I do feel the urge, given how spot long I am and how much I don't really want to sell those positions. I do feel the urge to like hunt some kind of little shorts against certain highs. But
You should, just because it's
don't
like
really
being
want
in
to.
cash. And then when you get to a level where it's obvious to you that like one side has been invalidated, you let it go.
Yeah, I feel really good about the bull side. This level kind of being lost, retaken, stabbed through, that shakeout, 10% OI wipeout, global OI wipeout, like, and now the next day, just kind of like everything's been green since.
Yeah.
Not one red 4-hour candle. So knowing my luck, if I did try to be like the wise short hedger, we'd end up with some shit like where you just do one of these and then just puke and die. And so I would certainly not be shorting because I'd be blown out and then I'd stay long as fuck. So I'm not, we'll see. If I get a setup, I've revamped my trade plan. I had a little tailspin last week. I tried to long too early and I got stuck and I martingaled out of it and it cost me some money. Not nearly as much as it could have. It was stupid. I was not playing from a position of strength, as I told you guys privately. And
I shouldn't have changed the sign-off message.
Yeah, I know. Dude.
Right? This is completely
we
my
fucked
fault.
that up. We really fucked it up. You sign off with everyone get wrecked. And that, so I'm gonna sue you. But
bad juju.
Bad juju. But anyways, point is I've revamped my trade plan. I'm really like part of just having these, like I have 3 fucking kids now. So like they're gonna be home. They'll be home from the hospital in about 4 or 5 weeks.
It's gonna be tough to trade.
God willing. It's going to be tough to do what I do now, which is a lot more like babysitting and finagling and feeling and looking. I'm really going to get back to robotics, mechanical type trade setups. And so I've been just revisiting that with Smeedy Boop. We're looking over our trade plans and just getting a bit more of that. And in that sense, all that to say, like, okay, if a short setup comes in up against these highs, given how spot long I am, I'll probably take it on my futures account. But I'm not going to like become the bear and start bear posting. Like I always go back to Rob Levy, bless him. He's just like, you ask him because he's not trading actively really right now. And I love hearing him and Gunny talk about it. We're going to go all the way back here. Like all through this, Rob's just like loading up. And he's just like, yeah, and he's like, because his thesis is like, it's fundamentally undervalued. This thing that exists needs to be repriced higher. I don't know when, but sometime soon. And I remember him saying, like with Gunny, they were on stream talking about it. He's just like, and then even this happens and Rob's just like, buy some more. Like the market just keeps giving us gifts. And, like that ended up being a really good trade, but then recognizing mania, getting out, looks like I was trying to short this, didn't get there. That's an old chart, damn. And then recognizing mania. Anyway, so I'm in that kind of phase in my head of just like, this looks fundamentally undervalued. This looks like a weekly breakout of a 9-month accumulation range. This looks like an extremely effective shakeout. I don't want to overtrade it. Futures like whatever, but I don't want to overtrade my thesis.
I feel like y'all gonna overtrade this. This isn't chop. This is the start of a new trend.
Yeah, it's one of your pasta dishes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You kids and your pasta. So but yeah, as far as like weekly trends go, I'm just not willing to say that was the end of it. that looks like an extraordinarily effective shakeout.
All eyes are on a market structure break. We didn't talk about that, but like, I think we were all in the crash waiting for a lower low. And then in the rebound, we were all waiting for a complacency shoulder or a lower high. We got our lower high, but it's not confirmed until we get a lower low. And so now we're in limbo, wondering what's going to happen. I think that's why everyone's so confused and having
Are you
trouble.
talking about like this lower high
That lower high and that lower high?
and this lower high?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't broken that. So that's it for me. You know, like you don't have to call me up and tell me we're bearish below here. I know that. That's where my invalidation is right now. I think getting an OI wipeout like that in that kind of fashion, and then bouncing. If I want to be a bull, like I can't be a bull below here for a little bit. There's some really nice levels at like 25K. I love that. So I'll be like pretty sure if I stop out here, I can make whatever percentage that is buying back. It's 8%. It's not even that much. But yeah, only thing I'm doing up against these highs is considering short setups. And that's on my futures account to hedge against some of my spot exposure. I am not considering selling my spot up against these highs. That would be shallow.
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out that since I've been on the stream, the price has only gone one direction.
Yeah. Short setup incoming, I was about to say.
Yeah. We just swept the highs, so
Yeah.
I better sign off before we get a red candle.
Uh,
It's going to really
Yep.
mess with my thesis. But no doubt, you know me, if there was like a time to short, it's like, in a short reload zone, like locally anyways, if there's,
Yeah.
but high time frame, I'm just not that convinced that we need to run into shorts. But you know what? I never am. That's why I miss them every time.
Well, I was glad that we didn't have a monotonic bear stream. We were able to get the
Yeah.
bulls in here to present their, albeit weak, thesis.
Yeah, I mean, you got lots of stuff going on in the market. China, Hong Kong, they're coming back into crypto in a big way, and they're coming in June. So
We need a soundboard with Trump.
I can't wait.
China.
Yeah, I can't wait to drop one of your copy pastas on you in June. It's at like 42K, and I'll be like, China was legalizing Bitcoin, and you shorted May anon.
And
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
one of your silly comments. We'll see. We'll see if
dude.
we'll see who's right. But I'll tell you what, Solana against this on the throwback, love. There's just some levels that I loved that came in yesterday. The problem is some of them came in like hot and heavy. Again, that low yesterday just makes such a sweet invalidation to any kind of buying. I don't see any, close invalidations for the selling. Like I wouldn't want to be like bearish Solana. Like that invalidation's like all the way up here, right?
Yeah.
So part of it comes down to trading. But my thesis, and I have 2 years at least for that to be validated, but the thesis is Bitcoin will halve again and price will go up some more.
I mean, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. So why would I sit here and torture myself trying to short every time there's a 10% dip and a 100% rally? Like
The
that's
tendies, sir.
Yeah.
I think it's all about time frames though. We talk about this all the time. We go in circles and circles and circles, and then we end on we're trading
Time
different
frames.
time frames.
The TFs.
TFs, WTF, bro.
What's
the time?
super good to be back with the boys.
Yeah, dude, I was crushed when I was driving home, finding out that you guys were already live. I was like, dude, 2:00. Why is it not 2:00? It's always 2:00. Is it always
It's my
1
fault.
o'clock?
Because
Yeah, it's always one.
Yeah,
It's always
my
one.
baby
Yeah.
goes to bed around now, for a nap. So
Oh shit.
That's
So
why we
it is
ended up
always
doing it.
one. So 2:00 is always my solo stream in Deltafy.
yeah,
And the pit is always one. So I'm a dumbass. But anyway.
as in typical fashion, I throw a little monkey wrench in your production, sir.
Well, I have the sense that Jew.bacca's got to run. He's usually got to run around
Yep.
this time.
It's about that time as
You
Where
well.
called
are you
it.
running off to? Are you at work? You're like
yeah.
on break right now in the back.
Yeah, I block off an hour and a half basically for
Right.
this
Dude,
on my
that's cool.
calendar. So
Well, thank you, man.
yeah. Yeah.
Look, I'm glad you guys were still going when I got back, and
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna go see my babies now. I'm gonna go to the hospital and see the babes.
That's a great sign off, dude.
I thought you were showing us like a family picture, dude.
Nah, it's
Oh, might
Carolyn.
as well be.
That's messed
Yeah.
up. That is messed up. Are you a dentist?
Me?
No, Jew.bacca.
No, I'm not a dentist.
Why is it like I get this? I haven't slept, guys. Excuse me. It looks like for half a sec you're wearing like scrubs, and I'm like, yo, you
Oh
know,
yeah, kind of does look like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not crazy. All right. Well, our dental hygienist has to go, so we better start.
Long
wrapping the
Doge. You
stream.
saw the omen. Long Doge.
I did buy a water pick at the top, so
There you go.
I understand the confusion.
Okay. What's a
That's
water
his
pick?
exorbitant purchase.
It's it's a water flosser.
Oh yeah, that sounds cool. Actually,
They rock, dude.
I do a lot of flossing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
The
DM
Pit, brought to you by Water Pick. Pick one up today.
Yeah.
Way more
Are we
effective than floss.
diverging right now? Are we? Is this a divergence?
Whoa. Hey. I just got shorts filled.
Ooh.
All right.
Spicy
Don't wreck me,
shorts
Bulla.
filled. All right. Should I be filling shorts? Tell me what to do, sir.
I can't. That's not my place, dude.
All right. Well, I better go. I'm
right,
not
gang.
filling shorts, by the way.
Hey.
I think we're going much higher.
Join the
Um,
conversation all week long. Hxro.com. Click community. Join the pit. We're in there.
Get it in you. I will pray for your shorts,
Thank you.
and I will look to load higher. I'm not shorting against yesterday's high. It seems too easy to come all the way back up here. This
Telling you,
fast.
it's been easy mode, but
I know. I'm probably gonna overthink it and miss it, but that's what I do when it comes to shorts. All right, guys.
see y'all next week.
Cool.
Whatever you do, don't listen to Circa about getting wrecked. Always play from a position of strength.
Exactly.